Spurs. Me told you
What
now.
about them?
Me told you. Me told you things are going to become hard. I told you here 2 weeks ago. You guys threw stones at me. You said, "Oh, you just don't like Spurs." You, Sammy, and online. I said, guys, Msemakweli is here. I said the next 6 games.
What was the big point? What was the big
I
point?
said the next 6 games we are going to find out
test.
how good Spurs really are.
Based on the opposition.
Because the first games I thought were easy, were winnable games, and I thought the 2 big games they played, Nketiah missed glaring chances, and then
The
Liverpool,
referee.
of course,
They
wakaibiwa.
beat Man United also.
Man United does not count.
We dominated
in this
that
period.
game for like 70 minutes before they scored the goal.
United does not count at this point in time. United, the only place it counts, it's form. Okay?
Yeah.
But in terms of the top teams, no, please.
That was early in the season.
No.
United
So-
hadn't had a
Chep,
culture
Yes.
of losing
Chep,
games.
I told Sammy, Msemakweli anakuja.
Yes, we told that last week.
Last week but one.
Yes.
And he threw stones at me. People threw stones at me on Twitter. They said, "No, you see, you just don't like Spurs." I said, guys, it's coming. Now we are here. What do you think? 2 losses on the bounce.
Yes, I thought the biggest point that you made at that time, because you rattled down the teams that they are going to play Chelsea, and then they play Wolves, and then they play, I think it's Manchester City, they play Aston Villa. I thought that the biggest point that you made then was that their level of opposition would get higher, and that would demand a lot from them. But what you've seen instead has been them having to deal with lots of injuries in their team. Now, if a team is going to lose 3 of their back 4 defenders, you're definitely going to expect something different from them, especially if it's Dyer or it's Ben Davies coming into defense. And at the same time, one of your guys who's been performing well this season, Maddison, gets a hamstring injury. So all of that is going to contribute to the team losing games.
But
So that's the big reason that they're losing games. They're not healthy, and they're missing their guys.
Let me ask, guys, when you start the league, are injuries part of football?
yes.
Yeah.
Are suspensions part of football?
Yeah.
Do other teams get red cards? Do other teams get injuries?
Uh-huh.
How do
Frequency
they
basis.
manage when they get injuries? That is the question.
Yes.
My point was simple. Spurs are punching above their weight, partly because they have a feel-good factor of having a new coach and removing the ghost that is Harry Kane, or the shadow that is Harry Kane. So they're having a very good work on a lot of vibes. You see, like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's United.
No
Yes.
pressure.
Vibes,
That
great
New manager
positivity, we are
vibe.
greatness, we are great. But I felt when you come to crunch,
Yeah.
then you start to do things that you shouldn't do, because then we want to see how good are you. So once they go to Chelsea, Romero gets himself sent off stupidly. Why? The pressure is cranking.
Got the ball.
We are going up.
They
It's
turn
a
up
red
the-
card,
the
Baba.
turn
First of all, let's not debate. It's a red card. He cranks up, gets a red card, gets himself sent off. Udogi, lucky to not get sent off for the 2-footed challenge. Then again, recklessly gets himself sent off. That now, who are we going to blame for that one? Are we going to blame again the injuries? Number 2, you are going to have a problem with injuries because games are coming thick and fast. Though Tottenham only have 1 game a week, don't they?
Yes,
they
they
do.
They only
Yeah,
have
it's
1
not
game a
bad.
week.
Think about
But hold on. These your Spurs, which you when I told you guys it's going to become a bit tough, I told you guys, look past their first 11. They have
Yes.
nothing.
There's
And
nothing
that's
else
the
to
I
main
say.
said
point.
that
and
they
that's
have
the
nothing.
Main, yes, that's the main,
They have
main
a
point.
really decent first 11. They have nothing. Tell me what they have.
They really
Who's
have
the
nothing.
sub for goal? Who's the sub striker? He's also injured. He's also having an operation on his
On his
pubic
groin.
bone.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
Richarlison.
Yes.
Maybe
Who's,
Brennan Johnson. now.
who's Devin's sub?
Yeah, it's dire.
And then who's Madison's sub?
Come on.
Yeah, no one.
That was
No
my
one.
point. I
Yeah.
wasn't in any way demeaning Tottenham.
Yes.
I was just saying part of this feel good is because of a nice run of fixtures. This run of fixtures are nice, and
Yes.
but once you come to, I'm playing Wolves, I'm playing Chelsea, and then I'm playing Villa, and then I'm playing Newcastle, and then now you start to see where now you are finding, and then all these wins because of a thin squad.
Yes.
They've
Yeah.
played majorly the same players throughout.
Yeah.
Majorly.
Yeah.
So because the squad is thin.
Yes.
And then, so if you play a player, man, what's going to happen? Not
Yeah.
everyone is Bukayo Saka,
The injuries.
break
who
down.
recovers from everything imaginable.
He'll break down, yes. But it feels as if everyone now has given up on Spurs. You
No,
sound so
we
gloomy.
haven't.
You sound so
We
gloomy on
haven't.
Spurs right now.
No! Spurs are now where I thought This is the Spy I thought it would be.
1 point above the top 4.
No, like with this kind of results and the kind of week they've had, they are coming back to earth. They're coming back to where they should be. Because I don't think Spurs are a top 4 side. I'm going to say this, I'll say it again. I don't think Spurs are a top 4 side. I think Spurs are a top 7 side. Okay? Maybe with a chance of getting into Europe. But I don't think they're a top 4 side. That's all I have said all season. That's all I am saying now. I told you guys 3 weeks ago, I said the next 6 games, tell us who they are. The first one, they crack. The very first one, they crack. The second one, of course, yesterday, thanks to you, I have very high regard of Gary O'Neill. Thanks to you. So every time now I watch Wolves, I'm like, yeah, this team, Sammy tells me to watch this coach. This coach is smart. Even yesterday, I kept telling Kwalimwa,
Yes.
But there will be stories.
Yes, because Wolves had chances actually in that game, especially in the first half.
Yes.
It's just the final third, that final ball to the goal. They had a problem there. It wasn't clicking for them.
Yeah.
But now conceding in the last additional time, I think it was 90 plus 3, 90 plus 7.
Yes.
They couldn't manage that game. Because when Wolves scored the first goal, that stadium and the players just bounced. They just maintained the pressure and got the second goal. Again, to what Wokabi said,
Yeah.
I remember that 2 weeks ago when we mentioned, now we have these big games. These games that now will test Spurs. That is now the Chelsea game last week. Then this game Wolves, and then there's Man City there. There's Aston Villa there as well. So now that is the opportunity to see what they are made of. As he said, injuries are part of football.
Yeah, and
if
when
you
you
have
lose,
injuries, you just have to adapt. Work with what you have. Work with what you have.
Injuries are part of it.
But you would bet that
But
if
then
your
again,
best players
as
get
you said,
injured, you're not going to be the same.
Yeah, I don't refuse. All I'm
won't.
saying is we are seeing the quality of. This is a bad example to give, but I'll give you the example of City. City go like, oh, we don't have KDB. Okay. Oh, who's the next one we don't have? The only player City stumble when they don't have is Rodri.
That's a good example.
Okay, they are able to like that's what I was saying. When you are fighting at that level, you have to have a depth. There's a depth you have to have.
At least.
You have that was my first point. You have to have a depth, and I said the fixtures were, and when the fixtures are kind, you tend to, because these days we are, to be honest, coach of the month in August, September
and October.
Yes.
Savage.
You say that thing you say of recency bias. August, September, October, all of them.
Yes.
How many coaches have won 3 back-to-back? Guys, please tell me, Pep, has he won? Arsene Wenger, no. Arteta, no. Klopp, nah.
No.
Tell me someone who's the last one to win 3 back-to-back coaches of the month.
I can get it.
That's the recency bias you're talking about. The way you are saying we are now beating them is the same way everyone praised and went with them and picked them to finish in the champions in the top 4. It's the same way. We just went the opposite way.
Just looking at Spurs, I think their first loss in the league, I think that was good for them because it would have been a pause from all the pressure of winning all the games. But then the second loss yesterday, I think that was a Spurs, what you'd basically call a Spurs, because how can you concede 2 goals in the added time? For them, I think losing key players, especially a 10 and a defender, I think it exposed them to. It showed us what
strength in depth is what
Spurs
we
is really all
exposed.
about.
What's there, what's underneath. And remember I said, they have to do this until January. Did I say that last weekend?
Yeah.
They have to somehow hang on until January.
Yeah, because even
then
most
January,
of these players,
they add a centre back who can defend. They add maybe a striker. No winger, they have Brennan Johnson. They add then maybe whoever will be fit. The boy from Croatia, the old man.
Perisic.
Yeah,
Perisic.
maybe my point has been that they had a nice start. I'm not taking anything away from Uncle Ange. No, though he's fantastic. The way he manipulated the media on Monday night was a lesson in how to manage press conferences. He manipulated it to the core. His team lost discipline, got players sent off, and then he played with a
And the
ridiculous
highline.
highline.
That
And
is
then
the
when
main
he lost,
point.
he got into the press conference and he said, we should follow what the ref says, and that's the best thing to do. And all of a sudden,
people forgot to ask
everyone fell
about
in
that.
love with that statement. No one asked
Didn't
about
ask
the
about
game.
the game, exactly.
No one. That was fantastic.
Yes.
I like that about him. He was clever.
Yes.
I like that about him. But now is when the rubber has met.
This is where the real
Yeah,
test
and most
starts.
of these players who are injured is still January.
Yes,
Yes,
Van de Ven,
Van de
and
Ven,
Maddison. Yes.
most of them until January. Now they have to find a way to survive till January.
Oh boy.
Yes, as you said, the issue is there's a drop-off between the first 11
Yes.
and the bench players that they have.
Yes.
It's a very, very big drop-off. Now they have to try and find, to minimize your gap, or survive hadi January.
The last word on this, so that we get on to top of the hour, though it's already 4 minutes past. Bernardo says, Arteta won 4 Manager of the Month award in a row last season. I'm assuming that would be now September, when they were winning everything. And then Klopp won 1920, same.
When you were winning.
When they were ridiculous. A 1920, Liverpool were untouchable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So when
there
they
was
won their
no
first, I
that-
don't know, 17 out of what, or 17 or whatever. The first few
We
games,
went- yeah,
they
they were
went-
winning.
we went very
It was
well.
17,
17,
eh?
yes, I remember
Yeah,
it.
so of course, he was winning every day. So it makes sense. Who's the other one? 17-18 City, Pep. Wasn't that the City for 100 points?
The
The
Centurions,
100s,
yeah.
the Centurions.
So that makes sense. So that's ridiculous company. By the way, Bernardo, thank you. That's ridiculous company
Ridiculous.
that Ange is in. Like, nowhere would you sit and you are told to write managers and you would think, I'm putting Ange right next to Pep and Klopp, yes, and Arteta for what they've done in the Premier League. So hopefully, we will see at the end of the season whether he stays in that group.